eliminate blockers and prioritize the work for the next week. I'm going to take a quick attendance right now. Links is here. March 401 is here. Jonathan is here. Tom Tramner is here. Coffee Rusher is here. Rainus is here. And a Thinker is here. Costin Evika is here. We have Bobo in the audience, along with Fundy in the audience. Nice. Thanks for being here, everyone. On the lag metric side, this is what we're trying to achieve right now in the phase of our project. We're trying to get our proof of concept out the door, and we're at 58% ready to launch. That's plus 9% from last week. I think a lot of that was mainly due, and I see Haz in the audience too, great. A lot of that was due to us kind of figuring out what actually needed to be done on the launch campaign side. But yes, we have made some progress on all fronts. We're done our legal, we're done our DAO partners, and we're done our related assets. So really it's just funding, app, card issuing, and launch campaign now. So we're moving forward as we go. And so the lead metrics are what goes into moving the needle on the lag metric side. These are going to hopefully change week to week. On the pre-launch email side, as Rainus was saying, we got plus 37 last week, a good week for us. We got plus 2,000 in the multi-sig for our POC raise. We're at 17,000 now. We're going to keep trying to push that number up as we go. Plus 4 on the completion of the alpha app, so we're now 32% complete. I did some adjustments there, so you can check that out if you like. And the completion of launch campaign planning. Coffee Crusher, I wasn't quite sure on this, but I see that.
I see. Because I sent you those, those milestones. Let's say
I put those in here.
So because we did the email to subscribers and we did the announcement on, let's say, another 10% completion. Okay.
So last week, I think it was at 37. So now it's at like 47?
47, yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, just double check. Yeah, it was 37 before. 37. Now it's at plus 10. Oh, right. Oh, sorry. It's 37, so 47. Nice. All right. Nice work there. Team-wide announcements. I didn't actually get a chance to do payroll last week, but I will do it. Well, I will try to do it. I will try my best to do it this week. Knock on wood. New member intros. Well, I do see we have a new member, Costa Navika. Do you want to unmute and tell us a little bit about yourself? Who are you? What brings you here? And what would you like to contribute, if anything?
Hi, everyone. So my name is Catherine. I think I'll need to change my nickname so you guys can pronounce my name. But yeah, I am very new to all of this, but I'm hoping that Martin, Rainus, and all of you guys will help me navigate this space more easily. So what I do know more about is art and design. I have been practicing since the age of 3. I've studied in art schools. I finished an art and design secondary school, and I have a degree in sculpting. And right now I'm pursuing product design in the Academy of Arts. So yeah, that's definitely my strong point, design and things like that. And I'm interested in helping you guys out and maybe learning something new. So yeah, that's about it.
Nice. Well, it's great to have you, Catherine. Really appreciate you being here. In general, the DAO space is a good one to put your work into practice and to experiment a little to try to get to the places that you want to be. So if you want to experiment with your art or with your product design, Bankless Card's a great place to do it. So glad to have you around. All right. Let's move down to our milestone perspective, looking at each of these milestones. On the funding side, we have the funding that we need to launch this product. The donations, the NFTs are minted. We just need to send. Is that correct, Anna Finker? I just kind of put an update in here for you, but...
Yep, that's correct. There were 11 minted. We also have Iced and Liza, Isla, who need we need to mint theirs. They'll be the exact same one, so that's fine. There'll be a different token compared to the other 6 which were previously minted, I believe. I don't know if I can mint more of that same one of the 1K. but it will be the exact same design and the same thing essentially. I don't know if I should just go ahead and do that now, and then we can send them all across as soon as possible, or should we wait and see if anybody else is going to allocate?
I think you can send them, and then we can mint more as people allocate.
Okay.
And I saw that we're missing someone's ETH address is incorrect. It's actually one of my contacts, so I'll bug them today. Actually, I better write that down. Otherwise, I will forget. Okay, cool. And we got plus 2K in the multi-sig. Just kicking the people who committed but didn't allocate yet. So we got plus 2 there. I think that there's another plus 3 that's possible. So we'll see. And then we need to start getting on to some more people. On the grants and accelerators side, NF Thinker submitted a base grant, which is great. Orange and Alliance are other potential cohorts that we could get in. I think that both of them require some equity in the company. We shall see if we want to do that. But for the funds that they're pushing out, it could be worth it for us. Anyways, something to talk about at our ops meet after our all team meet today, if you're interested. On the app side, our POC is ready to launch. Well, we're not quite there yet, but Tom did create a proof of concept, which was pretty interesting for the privy flow. He also created an onboarding initial cut based upon some of the adjusted wireframes that I made last week. And NF Thinker actually used those that implementation that you did, Tom, for the base grant. So really great teamwork there. InfoSec got our first URLs out, but they're broken. I'm going to keep bugging them and kicking them until they get them out. It really shouldn't be a big change for them. So I'm just going to practice the squeaky wheel gets the grease. I also created a spec for our virtual card, which both NF Thinker and Hazu weighed in on. There were some options there, so I think we can discuss that a little bit more at our product meet tomorrow. I'll try to adjust those wires and get them out, along with a new wire for our fiat on-ramping flow. So I shouldn't call it on-ramping because it's really just adding money to your card, but I will try to get that done today. Anything else on the product side that anyone else, or on the app side rather, that anyone else wants to call out? Ooh, I do think that we got, partially unblocked on the Transcard API. This is what we need to actually read transactions and balances for the cards and move money from one place to the other.
I think you can remove the partially. I think we're fully unblocked there. I was testing it out this morning. API calls are looking good, at least for the basic access for now. So today I'm going to spend some time creating cards with that API.
Awesome. I did get a encrypted email from Robert this morning, which I didn't check yet. So maybe
that's what I needed. Yeah, it's good.
Oh, okay. Awesome. All right. On the card issuing side, we have signed with a card issuing partner. So we're waiting on the DAO card approval and printing, but the Nouns card has been approved. The card collateral, there's some baseline stuff that's approved, but it makes a lot of references to PayNuver and Transcard. In fact, it tells the user in the collateral sorry, I should mention what I mean by collateral. When you get a physical card in the mail, it comes with a bunch of documents, and that is called the collateral. That's just like kind of what comes with the physical card. And in that collateral, there is like kind of a quick start guide, which says, hey, go to paymover.com to activate your card. We actually don't want that, but we're in a really tight timeline. So we kind of said to Transcard, hey, you know what? Just use that, and we'll tell users, at least our initial users, not to go to PayNuver, but to go to the Bankless Card app to activate their card. But it is possible, if we move quickly, to potentially change that collateral, to just tell them to go to the Bankless Card app. So if there's anyone who feels like editing a kind of like design doc, kind of one page doc right now, which is the kind of quick start guide that comes with the physical card. Any volunteers? I think it's going to need maybe a little bit of design work, but maybe not. Actually, it could just be text that we're editing and working with Crystal to edit. Any volunteers to do that?
That's something that I could work on tomorrow, time permitting.
Okay, great. I was hoping that you would say that, NF Thinker, because you're already in contact with them, so that would be something useful. I will try to go through today and just like call out some places that need that we could change based upon what I understand from the technical discussion we had yesterday.
Okay.
All right, so let me just write that down. Product, collateral, edits, make a list. Okay, cool. Potential new card issuing partner for 80 countries, Fiat 24. Do you want to give a little bit of a rundown on this, NF Thinker?
Yes, I do. Okay, so I met with this company called Fiat 24. They're actually a Swiss bank, and they allow people to basically mint a bank account. So the way that works is you connect to a DApp. We could integrate it directly within the Bankless Card app. Integrate their NFT claim page, essentially, or minting page. Connect on Arbitrum. You purchase a token, which is, I believe, costs 1/1500th of an ETH. So it's approximately 0.001 ETH. $1 or $2, something like that. You then burn that token, and you receive an NFT. The next step is to go through KYC. Because they're a bank and they provide all their own internal KYC, what they allow you to do is connect to their portal, go through the KYC process. Once that's finished, you then have an activated NFT. Now, once you have that activated NFT in any wallet that you choose to have it, you can connect via a DApp again, and you can view your balance in their bank account, in your bank account with them. You can transfer crypto to that account, turn it into fiat. You can spend fiat with a card. The card currently exists in 27 countries, the same as the same countries that Gnosis Pay has available. They have requested their own BIN from MasterCard, and they're hoping to get that early January, meaning that once they have their own BIN, they'll be able to issue cards for all 80 countries on their list. Now, this is 80 countries because Swiss banks are compatible with 80 different countries around the world. So essentially, what this would allow Bankless Card to do is not have to custody any user funds, period, not have to have any banking integrations in any of those 80 countries, and allow our customers to go online, create their own account, and then manage that account from within our app. It's free. I had a look at the agreement, and they actually request a $5,000 deposit, which is refundable after 500 people sign up. They are also offering certain incentives. There will be a grants program, and they have 100,000 ARB tokens, which they'll be airdropping to their first partners. I'm not sure if we'll be able to get in on that or not, because there's still some other stuff that needs to be discussed, and we need to work on an implementation. But there is some potential support from them there. So if you could imagine, we'd be, say, partner number 8, then that would open us up to 10 plus $12,500 worth of ARB tokens. The last thing I should mention is that the way this works with them currently is when they have a partner. So, for example, if Bankless Card was their partner, if somebody goes on, chooses a card, they would get a Bankless Card card. Now, that doesn't really work for us because our whole thing is supporting other people's brands. So, for example, if you wanted to order a Nouns card, you wouldn't necessarily be able to do that with their current implementation. And because all of this is managed with smart contracts, they've said that they would have to look at their technical implementation and see if we can create a sort of sub-partner, I guess it would be a sub-partner flow, whereby people could come into Bankless Card app, choose their DAO, connect a bank account with them, order a card with them, and it would be, say, for example, a Nouns card would be a sub-partner of Bankless Card, and we would be the sub-partner of Fiat 24. So there's a lot to take in there, a lot to consider. But this is a potential alternative to Gnosis Pay, and it is even more bankless than Gnosis Pay.
Yeah, and it's nice as well that there's not a lot of upfront costs, similar to the way that we're working with Transcard. There's not as much upfront cost here, so that is one of the big issues that we were having with all the card providers that are like, let's say, the established players. So really good potential partner there. It's something that we could execute upon potentially after we've executed on this.
Last thing I would actually add in there is that these are digital cards and tokenized cards. A tokenized card is actually what Apple Pay and Google Pay are. It's essentially an NFT, but it's an internal NFT stored in their own database. There is no physical card integration currently. Shipping physical cards to 80 different countries, they've said is quite a logistical nightmare. With the digital only card, they can do those for free. So again, that's another sort of trade-off, but it doesn't mean that we couldn't provide our own cards in the future.
Mm-hmm, absolutely, and we're kind of at the point where we have to decide what trade-offs we're willing to make and are good to make. But yeah, it's definitely a great lead. So thanks for giving us that information, NF Thinker.
Can I ask a question? Sorry. So NF, so you said Swiss Bank, so I'm a little familiar with Fiat 24. So initially, right now, they can launch in 20-something countries in Europe, correct?
27, yep.
Okay, and then with this IBAN number that they're requesting from Visa, it could potentially be 80 countries worldwide.
Correct. It's a BIN number that they'll be getting
BIN
from
number.
MasterCard.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so wow, what a huge partner. Okay, that's awesome. That's all I just wanted to clarify. So this could really blow us up real quick in a good way.
And so the bank accounts are actually available in 80 countries. It's just the cards that are not available. The card specifically is only 27. So we could still activate people with bank accounts in any of those 80 countries as soon as we could implement this. Cards themselves would roll out as soon as the BIN number to the rest of the 80 countries.
Got it. That's great.
Yeah, still something we have to figure out with revenue and all that kind of stuff. But yes, definitely great potential partner. Any other questions before we move on? All right. On the legal side, we have all the legal entities that we need. So we do, but we're moving money from our multi-sig to the bank account. This is still in progress. NF Thinker is working on this. Any updates?
Sorry, I forgot I was muted there. Yes, I have sent reams of documents across. So they have received our Panama Foundation docs, the LLC formation docs, basically everything. They have your name and address, my name and address, Sam's name and address. And so hopefully this will be everything. I received that email from Piotr last night at 9 p.m. my time, and I was able to get all that stuff across before I went to bed. So hopefully he can get back to us today at a reasonable time.
Awesome. Thanks a lot. On the DAO partner side, we have partnered with 1 to 3 DAOs for the POC. This is complete. On the launch campaign side, do you want to give an update on this Coffee Crusher?
Yeah, so we launched our first email that went out on the 10th to the subscriber list. This is the people that have pre-signed up. Our next target email that will go out is the 24th of November. And this will include coming soon. I'm just putting it as a couple weeks because I don't want to commit to December 8th because I know you had mentioned links. That's a possible. Could be earlier, could be, we announced on social. I still have not heard back from Brian, so today I'm going to hit up Ice Cool to get an announcement on the internal BDAO Discord.
I can do the announcement. I think that I might take some heat for doing it, but I will just poke people in the ops department.
Okay, I can ask Ice Cool. I'm sure he'll do it for me.
Yeah. Okay. I think.
Yeah, I don't want you to get
right. Like so. I don't mind taking heat for it. to be honest. It's okay. I mean, back when Bankless DAO started, people were shilling their NFTs on the announcement channel like all the time. So I was kind of like, eh.
Oh, okay. So I'll send you what I wrote up. Okay. Other announcements. So, working on the landing page, thanks to Lawrence, he's sort of doing sort of a graphical design on the background. This is for the noun sign up page. So that should be completed. He gave me a second revision of the image. I'm trying to make the background image a little bit look more nounsy. So that should be done today. And just for review for the team. And then before we send it over to the nouns team for review. And then once we have that, and then nouns team is ready to start doing some co-marketing. So that's exciting. I'm awaiting to hear back again from Drost because we haven't got a scheduled date.
We do have a scheduled date. Yeah, we do. It's tomorrow.
Have a scheduled date.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Good. That was my question because I didn't.
Tomorrow is when we will record it, and I don't know what the date will be for release, but yeah.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so that's for and then in regards to Crypto Sapiens, I'm supposed to get back to her by the end of this month because to get it scheduled. So she said to wait till the end of this month, just because she's got, and we will be the last show for her.
Nice.
As host, I shouldn't say the show. That's pretty much what I'm working on.
Awesome. On the related asset side, I basically said, well, okay, we're not going to work on anything else right now on the related asset side, so I'm going to put this as complete. On the task perspective, we'll pop open our Asana, and I don't know, and Thinker, if you're able to, yeah, you got the Asana. Oh, you have the desktop app, huh? Oh, I can't actually see it. I saw that you switched to it with your screen switcher.
I do. I'm going to swap that now.
Okay, cool. All right. In the inbox, we have role salaries, project champion, and ops workstream lead. Yes, I did do those. Product workstream lead. Hasbi, did you spend at least 5 hours on Bankless Card in the last week?
No, I just spent 1 hour.
Okay. Point. There. All right. And communication workstream lead, Reynes, how are you doing on this?
Yep, it was 5 hours. We filmed videos with Andy. I wanted to do an update on the POC. He said that he will have videos ready tomorrow for the communications call. We also worked with March on the emails and the notes, so everything is working in progress.
8. Partnership workstream lead, and Thinker, did you spend at least 5 hours?
Yes, I did.
Tom, did you spend at least 5 hours?
We miss you.
And Coffee Crusher, did you spend at least 5 hours?
Yes.
All right, awesome. I'm going to go ahead and remove this from the all team projects. Nothing else in the inbox. On-chain goodies, this is ongoing. I think that you have your contributor donor NFTs on here already, so we'll look at those a little bit further down. POC, we talked about this milestone already. We're still working on that. We have the funding needed to launch the POC. Well, in general, we're still working on our friends and family round. We're still looking to get 1 to 2K per person for anyone with Bankless values. So if you know anyone, go ahead and send them to either me or NF Thinker to try to push that number up. We're trying to get to 30K before the end of the year so that we can run this card program until we are able to start drawing revenue. On the side of the card issuing partner, well, this is pretty much done, I think. I'm going to leave it up here because we're still working through some of the stuff on the card issuing. But yes, on the customer journey maps, I did review this, Reynes, but I wasn't quite sure how you wanted to use the customer journey map. So maybe it's something that we should talk about because I wasn't sure how I could make this actionable.
Well, right now we have to redo it because we have a completely different strategy and because we're actually launching the POC. This one was just a description of how people sign up to our pre-launch list, a customer journey for our pre-launch list. So there's a whole new version of this we have to create. And how it's actionable, it's just to understand where the customer touch points for us, which are the crucial points of communication in their journey of for us right now it's pre-sign up, post-sign up, but when we have the POCs pre-card sign up and post when they're using the card. So just a way to way to see how the customers are traveling through our Bankless Card ecosystem. I would say it that way.
Awesome. All right, so I close it off for now, and we can open up a new one when we're ready to do that. On the card art side, I believe that this has been. I guess it's still we're still waiting on Transcard, but we've given them everything that they need to unblock themselves. So we'll leave it there for now, unless there's anything else you want to pull up on this Coffee Crusher and NF Thinker.
No, nothing for me.
Okay, so this week I'm going to figure out how to get money from our multi-sig to Mercury Bank on the top here. We really need to do some tests. See you later, Hazu. Thanks for coming. Sorry again about the hack, and if there's anything we can do to help, please let me know.
Oh, there is actually. There's been a Giveth page that's been set up for Hasu, and I'm going to share that link. Yeah, I'm going to share that link here. Okay, so if anybody's in the giving mood, it would be going to a very good cause.
Please do share that link. All right. Thanks for coming, Hazu. We appreciate it, and we appreciate you in general. Honestly, if you need to take some time to heal a little bit, but it's always a feeling in your gut when you get stolen from. So it's definitely a shame, and we hope the best for you, Hazu. Now moving on from our this week section, NFTs for the friends and family round. I think that you're still working on this, so we'll keep moving that. I'm going to go ahead and grab this link and also put it in our meeting notes as well. All right. Joust. There we go. Has it. And you guys can't see my screen, but I am putting it in the discussion section here. All right. Actually, it's probably a good thing for us to discuss a little bit of security in the discussion time when we get there. But let's finish up our tactical meet, and then we'll get into the discussion after this. So friends and family round. I think you already gave an update on this, and I think so I'll just pop over this to our alpha app. In general, we've been moving forward on our alpha app. I do think that I'm getting a little bit nervous. We have approximately 3 weeks until December 8th, which is the date that we wanted. And I'm wondering, normally in the fiat world, in kind of like full-time world, I would have the app in, let's say, code freeze at this time, and we're not there right now. So I just wanted to have a little bit of discussion later to think about, like, are we actually going to make this December 8th date? Is this something that we think that we're actually going to be able to do? So I want to have that honest discussion amongst the team. But in general, we are moving forward on this. We'll talk about it a little bit later. On the app deploy side, I've been having some difficulty getting InfoSec to make these URLs for us. They did create them, but then we're having some configuration issues with Vercel. The InfoSec team in general has been super swamped, so I will keep pushing them on this. POC launch campaign is ready. Coffee Crusher, I think you already gave an update on that, so I won't bother going through it again. Okay, great. On the base grant side, this is done, or do you want to continue doing other things for this? And I think, or do you want to follow up or anything?
No, I think you can mark that as done. And Dom from NNS has said that he's going to connect us with Jesse Pollock. So that is mega.
That's
mega.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing. All right. So next up, we are looking at our friends and family round. As I said before, we're trying to get 20 to 30K in our multi-sig. We have 17 right now, so we're not so far off from this. But if you do know someone who's interested in donating to Bankless Card to get this POC out, they will be rewarded in governance rights, and that is something that we expect to be very valuable in the future. So let me know if there's anyone who you know that has Bankless values that wants to help us out on this. On the contributor NFT. Oh, sorry.
Ronnie, who used to be contributing, he wanted to join in on this. He was asking me who to ask. I told him to write either to you or anything.
Okay, great. Yeah, I will poke him a little bit later. Bug Ronnie. All right. Okay, cool. Thanks for that. Appreciate it, NF Thinker. Sorry, not NF Thinker. Appreciate it, Rainus. Always good to get a lead. Oh, Oh no, there's Rainus there. I thought you were gone for a second. Contributor NFTs. Do you want to give an update on this, NF Thinker?
Yeah, contributor NFTs. I've asked Bobo for a larger resolution file because the one that here I'll actually grab that screenshot that I sent him. When I started looking at them, it turns out that the donor NFTs versus the contributor NFTs are much larger. The contributor NFTs are going to come up teeny tiny. So if you take a look at this, that's to scale. So it's like 20% the size. So I've asked him to re-export, and hopefully he can do that. But now that we have the manifold workflow, I think we can probably go ahead and do it through manifold. I saw that you mentioned something about a Zora NFT mint, and I don't think that would be exactly what we're after. We want to be able to airdrop these NFTs, and we want people to be able to claim them on a claim page, and Manifold seems to be just perfectly fine for that.
Maybe you should document that Manifold workflow and put it into an article that we can ship on our mirror page.
Sure. Yeah, I've already started that in Notion, so I can try and wrap it up into a pretty little package.
Amazing. All right. Ibiza next. Anything else to do on this, Rainus? Did you ship those videos?
I'm still stuck on the subtitles. I also to have them soon. I'm just working with AI platforms, so that saves time, but that hasn't saved any time for me. So, yeah.
All right. Well, appreciate that. I think YouTube automatically put subtitles on for you.
Yeah, but it cuts out certain parts, and it doesn't work every time. And then you have to go in and manually change the text and stuff. So it's a whole process. But I'm nearly done, and yeah.
Cool.
I hope to have them this week, if worst case scenario next week, but I want to get them done because it's been on my mind since, for a month now.
Okay. Hey, I appreciate it. I'm excited to get that stuff out. There's definitely some good videos there. Create donor email list. Haven't had a chance to work on it. Maybe we'll see this week, and I'll leave it to that for now. All the stuff that's related to the product work, I know that Jonathan's here, and stuff that is related to even like our marketing and external work. Feel free to cross-post that stuff here. I know that it's me who should be doing it for the product stuff, but yeah, I know that Jonathan's working on the profile screen. Do you want to give an update on the profile screen, Jonathan?
Yeah, I mean, this late evening I will fix what we were talking about, and yeah, as we continue then with your approval, I could continue to build forward links.
Nice. And yeah, in general, it's the discussion I had with Jonathan was around how to use Git to make the workflow easier. Coding in a team is a little bit different than coding on your own, Jonathan, and feel free to take some to improve your skills here at Bankless Card. That's something I was saying earlier for Catherine as well. Bankless Card is a great place to get better at whatever it is that you want to get good at. So, feel free to reach out if you need any kind of help and that kind of thing. Other than that, I think that's it. Is there anything else that people are working on that isn't on this list? All right, then I think it's a good time to get down to the discussion items. We have a couple. Oh, someone say something? Okay. So in general, I guess we kind of alluded to the fact earlier, but I wanted to mention as well, Hazu recently got hacked and she lost 8,000 USD from two of her wallets. And the way that she got hacked was someone had sent her, there's a lot of people who are freelancing. I think a lot of members of our team here at Bankless Card are freelancing. And the way that she got hacked was someone kind of social engineered her into, it was supposed to be for a freelance job, and they got her to download something and run it on her computer. She was running browser wallets, so MetaMask, on a browser as a browser extension. And as a result, they were able to get everything out of her wallet, which was really, really terrible. I think in general, there are some security best practices that I mean, I don't know. It depends on everyone's particular setup, but one thing that feels like it happens more than not, when you use a browser wallet, it is just more susceptible to hacks because it is. There's just a lot more security holes in a desktop computer than there is on a phone or a hardware wallet. So I really recommend that if you're going to use a browser wallet, to use a browser wallet that is not connected to a lot of your assets. Okay, so like have a different wallet that you use on the browser versus where you keep the rest of your stack. I mean, I think it's really it's something that it's really easy to get stolen from in the crypto space, right? And so that's just something to note. As well, another, I guess, security best practice. So we talked about having like multiple wallets just now. One way that you can do that and still use your kind of browser wallet is to get an ENS name and set that ENS to have different kind of to point to different things. So you may have multiple wallets with different seed phrases, different keys, and each of those wallets can still be behind an ENS name. So I could log into something using my ENS monkeydlinks.eth. And, my identities, my NFTs or whatever are stored in one wallet. And my browser wallet, actually I don't use a browser wallet typically because I just am too afraid to use one. I think I'll get hacked too easily. But my browser wallet that I use for, just connecting to sites could also be connected to this ENS, and my assets are still secure. Okay, so if you need help on this, InfoSec in Bankless Publishing. Bankless Publishing has a bunch of articles on this. They recently did one on how to set up an ENS in the way that I'm describing, where you have multiple wallets behind a single ENS, and you can use that to kind of set up like, oh, this is how I vote. I use this one to vote. I use this one to for my identities. These kinds of things. So if you haven't seen it, go ahead and check out banklesspublishing.com and check out those. But if you need help, if you're worried about security, feel free to reach out. We have lots of people at Bankless DAO who are willing to help, and even within the team here at Bankless Card. But once your funds get stolen, it's really, really hard to get them back. In fact, you're probably never going to get them back. So it's really good to take some preventative steps right now. And in case you haven't seen it, there's a little giveth page for Hazu I haven't taken a look at it yet, but yeah, it's if you feel so inclined. Hazu is an all-star contributor at Bankless DAO and Bankless Card. So if you feel so inclined, please do send a little love her way. Any questions?
It seems like something I probably need to look into. Wallet security is one of those things that's always kind of on the back burner, but there never seems enough time to actually do it. So this article looks like a great place to start. It's here. I will grab the link and I will stick it in the chat as well. So yeah, dig in, everybody.
Yeah. All right. So next thing I want to talk about is, are we going to make it on for December 8th? I think this is probably, I just want to have a frank discussion because it is in our values to be quite transparent, especially within our team. So I just wanted to talk about some of this stuff because I think it's worth mentioning. In general, when I look at the progress on the POC, sorry, not the POC itself, but the app, we are looking at something like 34% complete with 2 weeks left. I do think that we could get something out for December 8th, but there are certain things that are going to be not as great. I think that there are some things that we could de-scope But yeah, in general, how do you feel, people who are working on the app? I guess Tom and myself are the ones who are deep in there, and there are other people who have been using it. But yeah, I mean, how are you feeling, Tom, on this?
The biggest thing was obviously just waiting on those transcard APIs, because before we got access to that, we weren't really sure about how we were going to be able to put them in. Now that we've got those in place, I suppose the technical gap that we're missing is still the bank transfers. But from a technical standpoint, I don't see anything beyond the bank transfers that could be a blocker for technical build. In terms of getting it polished and getting the UI up to snuff, I'm not really sure if we'll be able to parallel both of those, but certainly I think the technical lifts should be doable.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I think in terms of technical hurdles, most of them have been hurdled. Most of them have been gotten. But the thing that is really going to be the difference is whether or not we're actually producing something that has a good UI UX, right? And I think that is the important part as well, considering that, it's our purpose is to bridge the UX gap between Web3 and the real world, right? So that is something that I think that we need to really take a little bit more look on. Like, for instance, I'll give you a big example. The collateral that we have for Bankless Card is making reference to Paynoover, and you use Paynoover's site, it's not very good, right? And so basically we're asking people to use our app, then download our app, get a card, then the card is telling them to go to the Paynoover site, when really they could just be coming to our app. So these are kind of some of the UX issues, I would say, with the potential UI. And so I just wanted to call those out a little bit because I do think that we could produce something, but that thing that we produced may have suboptimal UI. It may have some bugs in it. Is that still okay with people? I mean, do you think that is something that we should say, no, let's hold off and release something that is better? But if we do that, we're talking, for instance, if we decide that we want to change the collateral or something, we may have to wait until January to release, which is quite a bit of a pushback. So I think that there are multiple approaches we could take. One of them is to just kind of do a soft launch on December 8th and just kind of get it out to a smaller number of people. Another one is we could just do a full launch and we just really de-scope as much as we can. Maybe you can't even claim rewards yet, and we're saying it's coming soon or something like that, and we just do our best to try to make that flow as simple as possible. We haven't even started user testing yet, right? So I would say that there's probably still a bunch of bugs that we have to solidify. But in general, Tom's I would say analysis, or let's say observation is correct. We could probably get something out, but it may not be as high quality as we want. Is it worth pushing it back, or do we want to continue to push forward?
So from my perspective, and I don't know all the technical of what still needed to be done, but in either waiting for a fully seamless to January, I think is not ideal at all. I mean, I'm thinking we push forward. I mean, even if, and we push it out to a full, as you called it, a full release, I think is what you called it, not to a limited amount, because, it's we need to at least get the product out there. I think it's okay that they can't start earning or showing in the app that they are earning rewards or tokens in the case of BDAO or nouns. It's just that we'll have some sort of, I want to call it on the back end, showing them an ability, what they've earned so far. Don't worry, we'll have it on a ledger kind of thing, and that'd be the messaging or whatever it is. But I think it's more important to get it out and have it usable, because most people are just more worried about using it and getting to spend with it and knowing that they will earn the tokens. But, the ability to receive those tokens and all that, if that's part of the issue, as long as it's ledgered that they've been granted them, even though they don't physically have them in their wallet, I think is okay for the first initial.
All right. Appreciate that feedback. Anything else?
Yep, I agree with that. I feel like we need to get something out, scope it back as much as possible. If we can launch in December, we can say we launched in 2023, and that's it. That's gonna be a huge thing, right? Rather than saying it took us a full 2 years to launch, we can say that we started in 2022, launched in 2023. I know it probably doesn't make a lot of difference because at the end of the day, the most important thing is how the product works and what it does for people. And, that's what we're all here building for. That's what we all believe in. But there is also some narrative that helps drive the underlying support for the project. People can see that we're delivering, we're getting stuff out. My biggest concern would be that this is a relatively high profile launch within the Web3 ecosystem. This is the first physical product besides merch out of Bankless DAO. It has the support of people like David and Ryan. I don't know about Ryan. He hasn't said anything. But from David, he's excited to see it. So I can imagine people like David will be downloading this app and ordering the card as soon as possible. That means these bugs are going to be glaring in their eyes. But hopefully they'll understand. They're also not necessarily they don't necessarily have any control over us launching, and maybe their feedback would be appreciated. I'm sure their feedback would be appreciated. Just goes to say that they can't turn around and tell us to stop, but they could yoink support from us if we delivered a shitty product, which I don't think we're going to deliver a shitty product. I think we're going to deliver a somewhat limited product given the time frame that we've got. But when you weigh it up, I think getting it out as soon as possible is better than waiting until January.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel about... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say 100% to that.
How do you feel about this, Tom?
I definitely think that I'd like to push to get it out this year rather than next year. I think the only kind of gap in terms of getting all of these bugs corrected and things pushed into a state that we're happy with is really just eyes on the project and sort of feedback as we proceed and progress through everything. So I think if people are willing to be hands-on and jump on, testing when we have it available and get us feedback ASAP, then that's going to help us to keep moving things forward. I think that, I'm willing to sink the time in to get it built, and I think we all are on the same page there.
Yeah. I will also mention that I feel the same way. I really want to get something out as soon as possible, even if it is way less scope than we wanted. But what I want to get out is something that, from a user perspective, it may not be perfect, but it's usable. And I think the key for this as well is, so for instance, Tom, we've been pushing to main, so we don't really have, I think okay, let me stop for a second and address your issue. The biggest issue is missing eyes on the project. I have been spending more time doing other things rather than doing product work, and we lost our two product people for the last 2 weeks, Anna and Hazu, because they had some other stuff to do. So it may be that I just kind of move over to the product side a little bit more. But then when we, for instance, when I would say that my front end look is a little bit more, my front end eyes are a little bit more, let's say, opinionated than yours, Tom. And so it's probably a good thing for me to do some front end work as well. So ultimately, it's we need people to help us coordinate the feedback process. This is something that a product manager would normally do. Hey, we have a release. We need to get people to use this product. And we also need to take that feedback and turn it into actionable items that our tech team can use. So that is something that normally a product person would do. And it is a very in-depth, time-consuming thing. I'm willing to put in the time. I just don't know if I'll have time to do front-end work and product work, as well as handle some of the coordination with things like Transcard. So, I really do appreciate some assists and a finger, especially from you, on the coordination side, especially on this unblock stuff, and from Coffee Crusher around some of these campaigns. But in general, if we can get some more help on some of these other things, maybe I can put more of myself into the product. So it may be that that's something we need to do. Another thing as well, Tom. So I'm glad that you're saying that you're willing to put in the time for this. It's like the next 3 weeks. I also want to put in the time for this. Another thing that we need to do is, I guess, like adjust some of the way that we work so that we can always have some sort of stability for feedback and users. I think we've talked about this concept of always releasable before. This idea that the product should always have something in a releasable state. So, for instance, right now we have on production, we have some unstyled code, which we've kind of been like, that's fine. But as we are coming into the end here, we really need to be putting stuff in that is an end user could see and understand and still feel like this is part of the product. So we need to not have things like buttons that don't do anything. I don't think that this is one of our problems. We need to have things that like no unstyled components on production, these kinds of things. We can put those on staging so our internal team can test them and try them and that kind of thing. But we need to ensure, especially as we're getting down to the deadline, that the only things that are going on main are usable in their own way. Does that make sense, Tom?
Sure. Yeah, I absolutely get that. I think the reason why you got a bunch of my unstyled code yesterday is due to that bug that I was trying to run down, and I wanted to make sure that I wasn't losing my commits along the way, and so they ended up pushed up to production and probably shouldn't have been. But I wanted to obviously get the login bug corrected ASAP.
Yeah, no, it's good that you got that. And like in general, that's just the way that we've been working up until now. So there's not like, it's not meant as a reproach in any way. It's just meant as okay, well, if we want to aim for this December 8th date, these are some of the things we have to do.
Yeah, I hear you for sure. I'm happy to, definitely start pushing my commits to staging in advance. It's something that I'm trying to work towards as well. I guess in my eyes, the releasability factor has really been hampered by the lack of connection to the APIs that we need to date.
Yes, absolutely agree with you there. That's another thing that we're also reconciling is that Transcard, we've been bugging them for over a month to get us their APIs, and they just gave us access yesterday. So this is also why we have some issues. But I think in general, we need to do some things, but I'm glad that we reaffirmed. The reason I put this discussion item in here is I just wanted to reaffirm as a team that it's going to take some work, that we may have to make some compromises on the product itself to get it out there in time. But as long as we all are aligned that we're going to try to get this thing out for December 8th, and as long as we're aligned in what does that mean, then I think we can do it. But it's just not maybe going to be as quote unquote perfect as we like, but that's okay, right? Like ultimately we want to get something out and iterate anyways.
Yeah, my thinking, I think I might have mentioned this before, but it's always of the state that I prefer to build something ugly that actually works, and then from there, utilize the resources of those around me who have obviously much better eye for design and style to tighten things up and make them better moving forward. Because I think that if we have an end-to-end workable app that's technically correct and is functional all the way through, fixing up those UI, UX bugs are going to be a lot easier to sort of identify and address piecemeal as we go, rather than individually with each particular technical implementation.
I agree with you, Tom. I think that getting out something less pretty, but it works, is more important than getting out something pretty that doesn't work. And I also think that a little bit of rigor as we're getting into this last 3 weeks in a release flow will make it easier for people to give us feedback, and will make it easier for us to prioritize what we actually need to get done.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. So I'm glad that we got that alignment there. And in general, as we're working on product stuff, so I know Jonathan's here as well, just think about how we can reduce our effort without making huge compromises. So for instance, Jonathan, you're working on the profile page. If you just make this profile page read-only, so it's read-only, just reading the user data, instead of read-write, that is a change that will probably cost you, in terms of like the amount of time that it might take to get you up on Vercel and something, it may be like half a day that it takes you to get up on Vercel. But if you just make a read-only version first, release that, and then make a read-write version, that could allow us to get our profile page out sooner. Even though it's not as good as it could be, it's still something that a user could use. And then the complaint that they have is, I wish I could change my email address or something like that, right? And that is something that we can figure out later.
Understood.
All right, we're kind of at the end of our time here, but I just wanted to just take some time to thank everyone. We are doing something that hasn't been done before. We are doing something that is different and interesting and fun, and is also the culmination of all of the work that we've been putting in over the last year and a half. Right? And so it is natural that we're going to get into a point where we're potentially releasing something that is not as good as we hope, but is something that we can build upon. Just focus on that we are building. We are building not just for this December 8th date, but for much further in the future. So as long as we are building things that can be reused, that are an asset to the team, we will be successful. Okay? So I think I said it before when I said it's not sure whether or not we're going to make the state, but if we do make the state, we will be legends, right? And so ultimately, that is what we're trying to do, is just to get something out. And upon that, we can build. So thank you for all your hard work that you're putting in. This is impossible for any one of us to do alone. I think like all of the things that we're doing around our communication, all of the things that we're doing around our administration, the funds that we're receiving, the NFTs that we're giving in response, all of the work that we're doing with the transcard, the APIs, the technical work, the coordination, it's way too much for one or two or three people to do. It's going to take all of us working together to make this really good. And every single thing that you do is making our product better. So thank you, everyone, for doing this with me. I think it's really important that we're doing this as a team, because then what we will have built is a team and not just a product. So thanks, everyone, for being on my team with me.
Hear, hear.
Thanks, everybody, for all your hard work.
Yeehaw.
Okay, see everyone later. I appreciate y'all.
Laters.
See you.
Thank you.
Have a great day, everybody.
Bye.